What if homeless people decided to overthrow the government? And it's not really that crazy if you think about it, because historically, the people who have been the most effective at waging revolutionary war have been the people with nothing to lose. So if you're like some kind of college student, activist type, even if you say you want to destroy capitalism, it's very hard for you to actually throw yourself at the barricades the way that really marginalized people can. So it's kind of a hypothetical, right? What if Black Lives Matter went to every homeless person on the streets of LA and they were like, we'll give you one of those pre-wrapped loaves of baguette from Ralph's if you just charge at the White House super, super fast. And everyone kind of descended on the government and they just all rushed at the same time. And obviously you would lose a lot of people, but you would also probably be pretty successful depending on how many you had, right? Because it's a numbers game. If the ratio of protesters to cops is 20 to 1, then they actually could just kill all of you. But what if it's 90 to 1 or 150 to 1? Then the sheer amount of people who are just swarming at the same time is overwhelming. And that's something that people don't understand is, like, historically speaking, really powerful military governments have actually been overthrown with just raw manpower. In the Iran-Iraq war, when Saddam Hussein invaded Iran, the Ayatollah would send all the true believers over to the front lines, and they would blow themselves up, and martyr themselves against the Iraqi army. And that was a hugely effective tactic, because it meant that what Iran lacked in technology, they made up for in force of belief. And in a culture like America that doesn't really believe in anything and doesn't really have any spiritual grounding, the next best thing is to have people who are on methamphetamines or people who are kind of mentally out of control. They can be the ones who you send to the front lines as shock troops. They're kind of like the berserkers in Viking mythology, who are able to just charge headfirst at the enemy with no regard for their own mortality. And I think if Black Lives Matter or socialists were serious about trying to really change the system through violent rebellion, people would have more serious discussions about how we're going to try to use human wave attacks against the ruling class. Because if you think about it, like, they're just people too. If Nancy Pelosi, who's like 85 years old, if a bunch of people just trampled her, or Mitch McConnell, it's not a partisan thing. Both parties are pro-capitalist. They're both pro-corporate. And if a bunch of homeless people charged them and just stomped on them, they would die. Like, they're very brittle, fragile people. They would be crushed like bugs.